If he decides not to play this year, if he retires at the end of this year, there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers who lose a lot of money. Because there's no more LeBron James to talk bad about, and you won't be in the algorithm. You better hope he plays for the next 5 to 7 so you can feed your kids. Because when he's gone, them checks is gone.
That's a fact.
I can't.
You're working in Cleveland. You get a job opportunity to go to Miami.
No, it ain't a job opportunity.
No, but you formed.
But are you gonna?
No, Joe side. I'm not gonna give you that.
You must stay in Cleveland.
Joe,
you have the option to go play wherever you want.
Listen. No, Josiah.
You live in Cleveland.
He made a conscious decision.
I want out of here.
I want out.
Okay.
And you leave
to a super team.
And that's when the criticisms start.
Listen to this. Kenyon Martin wasn't merely pushing back against Rashad McCants and Dillon Brooks. He went directly after the entire narrative surrounding the disrespect aimed at LeBron James, sounding completely tired of seeing the story get flipped around. And that's exactly why the energy exploded on Gil's Arena. This wasn't a laid-back conversation about player rankings or some relaxed discussion comparing different generations. This was a former top overall draft pick, a seasoned NBA warrior, and a guy who truly experienced that locker room environment stepping up and saying, "Enough already." The situation reached a boiling point because LeBron James has become basketball's favorite target these days. When he wins, critics claim he had too much support around him. When he loses, people instantly start questioning his legacy. When he's still dominating at this stage of his career, folks begin wondering how much longer it can continue. When he has a single rough performance, people suddenly act like everything he's accomplished means nothing. And once names like Rashad McCants or Dillon Brooks start firing off comments, it gives the internet exactly what it's looking for. More drama, more fighting, and more endless LeBron conversations everywhere you turn. But hold up, Kenyon's point goes far beyond simply standing up for LeBron. He's really saying there's a major difference between genuine basketball criticism and saying outrageous things just to grab attention. You can absolutely discuss LeBron's mistakes. You can bring up his finals defeats. You can say Jordan is your greatest of all time. You can even argue that Kobe carried a different type of killer mentality. All of that falls within normal basketball debate, but the second people start acting like LeBron hasn't earned the respect he's received, that's when Kenyon jumps in and shuts the entire conversation down fast.
Nobody.
But you are chosen one.
On the back.
I am.
Greatest king, right? All of these things are being said by the masses, right?
That's fair.
You jump ship. You go join a guy that was in your draft.
That won already.
Already established. The criticism for a lot of people was warranted.
Listen to this. Rashad McCants has made a name for himself as someone who never hesitates to challenge the popular narrative. On Gil's Arena, that kind of approach can be entertaining because the entire platform thrives on bold opinions, powerful personalities, and players speaking their truth. But when the conversation shifts to LeBron, Rashad goes so far in the opposite direction that it starts feeling less like basketball analysis and more like he's trying to provoke the biggest fan base in sports. And Kenyon Martin clearly wasn't about to let that pass without a response. Then you add Dillon Brooks to the equation, and suddenly the situation becomes even more intense. Brooks worked his way into the LeBron storyline through non-stop talking, constant taunts, and fully embracing the villain character. The moment he said he enjoys poking bears during that Lakers-Grizzlies playoff matchup, he created a scene that fans still remember. But hold up, when you poke a bear, there's always a price to pay. If the bear responds, you've got to be ready for whatever comes next. And LeBron has delivered more than enough moments against Brooks to make people wonder whether all that trash talk was ever worth it in the first place. That's exactly the difference Kenyon is highlighting. Talking is the easy part. Backing those words up is an entirely different challenge. Dillon Brooks speaks like he's chasing that LeBron matchup, like he's welcoming the pressure, like he wants every bit of the spotlight. But LeBron's career stands on such a different level that situations like this barely register when compared to everything he's accomplished. Brooks may put together a big performance once in a while, talk confidently, and get under opponents' skin, but LeBron is still LeBron. That resume doesn't suddenly lose its value because somebody decides to play psychological games.
to play mind games.
No, that's my homie.
Homie and his fucking twin brother are two
This is my
I'm
man.
going to watch my twin brother play.
You're an active player.
You are.
No, you're
You're an active player. You're an active.
Hold up, here's the part of the conversation that a lot of people aren't even talking about. Much of the criticism aimed at LeBron isn't really centered on basketball anymore. It's become more about fatigue than anything else. People are worn out from hearing his name, exhausted by the endless debates, tired of the media spotlight, tired of the longevity, and tired of every season becoming another referendum on his legacy. So, instead of evaluating the player himself, they end up reacting to all the noise surrounding him. Kenyon Martin clearly recognizes that reality, and that's why you can hear the frustration in his tone when people act like LeBron still needs to prove something basic. That's exactly why Rashad McCants remains such a major figure in this discussion. He's played in the NBA. He understands how unforgiving that league truly is, and he knows what it takes just to survive at that level. So, when he shares his thoughts on LeBron, people pay attention, because he's not simply another random voice on the internet. But with that level of credibility comes a serious amount of responsibility. If a former player starts minimizing LeBron's accomplishments too much, someone like Kenyon Martin is going to step in and challenge it, because players know how ridiculous it sounds to pretend LeBron's career isn't his storied. Kenyon's response lands differently because he's speaking like someone who genuinely respects the grind. He knows exactly how difficult it is to reach elite status for even a single season, let alone remain dominant for more than 2 decades. He understands what it takes to stay healthy, continue producing, evolve your game, carry enormous pressure, deal with constant criticism, and still be evaluated like you're expected to be flawless every single night. That's why he's refusing to let that kind of casual disrespect slide.
If he decides not to play this year, if he retires at the end of this year, there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers who lose a lot of money.
And that's exactly why Gil's Arena thrives on moments like this. It's not some polished television setup where everyone patiently waits their turn and avoids controversy. It's intense, it's unfiltered, and it's packed with emotion. It's former players challenging each other the same way they would inside an NBA locker room. And when Kenyon starts firing back, it feels authentic because nothing about it seems rehearsed. It comes across like someone finally saying what plenty of players are already thinking but don't always say publicly. You can debate LeBron all day, but stop pretending he doesn't belong in that elite category. The truth is, many of LeBron's critics keep moving the target every time he proves them wrong. Early in his career, people claim he couldn't win a championship, and then he did. After that, the criticism shifted to needing Miami, so he returned to Cleveland and took down a 73-win Warrior squad. Then people argued the bubble championship shouldn't count. After that, the narrative became that he was simply too old. And what happened next? He continued performing at an elite level anyway. The truth is, many of LeBron's critics keep moving the target every time he proves them wrong. Early in his career, people claim he couldn't win a championship, and then he did. After that, the criticism shifted to needing Miami, so he returned to Cleveland and took down a 73-win Warrior squad. Then people argued the bubble championship shouldn't count. After that, the narrative became that he was simply too old. And what happened next? He continued performing at an elite level anyway. Eventually, it starts looking less like honest criticism and more like people refusing to acknowledge greatness. And that's when everything gets complicated, because once emotions take over, the facts begin getting buried. Rashad McCants may raise legitimate basketball arguments from time to time. Dillon may genuinely be a tough defensive competitor. But once the discussion becomes more about tearing LeBron down than fairly evaluating his game, the argument loses its credibility. Kenyon Martin isn't claiming that LeBron should be immune from criticism. He's saying the criticism should actually be logical and grounded in reality.
Because there's no more LeBron James to talk bad about, and you won't be in the algorithm. You better hope he plays for the next 5 to 7 so you can feed your kids. Because when he's gone, the checks is gone.
LeBron has given critics and fans more than enough material to discuss over the years. His finals record, the franchise changes, his influence on roster decisions, his leadership approach, and his constant presence in the media spotlight. None of those topics should be off limits. But if the conclusion is that LeBron isn't genuinely one of the greats, then the entire argument collapses immediately. You can't wipe away more than 20 years of dominance simply because you don't like the way the story has been presented. Dillon Brooks almost symbolizes this newer generation of LeBron criticism. He's vocal, fearless, physical, and overflowing with confidence. That definitely makes him entertaining to watch. But once you start speaking that boldly about a player like LeBron, you're opening the door to comparisons, and that's when things become uncomfortable. Brooks can win individual possessions. He can frustrate LeBron and get under his skin, but historically, the gap between them isn't even close, and everybody knows it. That's why Kenyon's response feels so direct and important, because players understand the difference between competition and outright disrespect. You can defend LeBron aggressively, you can talk your trash, you can refuse to take a step back. That's competition. But when it turns into acting as if LeBron still needs to earn basic respect from someone who hasn't reached anywhere near that level of accomplishment, that's when guys like Kenyon Martin start looking at the situation differently. Rashad's criticism strikes a different chord because he's not simply an active opponent trying to get into LeBron's head. He's a former NBA player making legacy-based arguments, and those conversations are supposed to rise above emotion. They're supposed to include context, statistics, eras, impact, longevity, and what players actually accomplished on the floor. So when Kenyon hears LeBron being reduced to whichever negative narrative is trending that day, he's going to push back strongly, because that's not how basketball history should be evaluated. This is where many younger players miss the bigger picture. They start confusing attention with achievement. Dillon Brooks gained attention when he challenged LeBron. Rashad McCants gains attention whenever he delivers strong opinions about LeBron. But attention alone doesn't make you correct. It only means people are paying attention. At the end of the day, basketball always circles back to what actually happened on the court and what the resume says. And LeBron's resume is simply too massive for these smaller arguments to carry much weight. That's what makes Kenyon's defense resonate so strongly. He's not defending LeBron from the perspective of a fan. He's standing on principle. He's basically asking, if this level of greatness doesn't deserve respect, then what exactly are we talking about? If someone can become the all-time scoring leader, win championships, collect MVP awards, dominate across multiple eras, and still perform at an elite level well into the later stages of their career, yet people still label that overrated, then the entire conversation has lost its foundation. And when you examine the legacy side of things, it becomes even unbelievable. LeBron's story isn't only about statistics, it's about surviving and thriving through multiple generations of basketball. He competed through the final years of the Kobe era, battled against the Spurs machine, went head-to-head with the Celtics' Big Three, and then had to navigate the Warriors' dynasty while an entirely new generation of stars continued to emerge. Through every stage of that journey, he kept adapting, switching teams, adjusting his responsibilities, transforming his body, and elevating his game to another level. That kind of staying power isn't ordinary, it's historic, plain and simple. That's what Kenyon Martin was really addressing in that moment. Not healthy debate, but careless disrespect. If Rashad wants to argue that Jordan ranks higher, that's a fair basketball opinion. If Dillon Brooks wants to compete and talk his talk, that's part of the sport. But don't confuse being loud with actually being correct. Don't act like provoking a legend suddenly places you in the same category, and don't pretend LeBron's entire body of work vanishes because someone found one negative narrative to focus on. So when Kenyon takes aim at Rashad McCants and Dillon Brooks, he's doing far more than defending LeBron James. He's protecting the line between genuine basketball discussion and pure clout chasing. He's standing on the belief that when a player gives this game that much for that many years at that level, you don't have to like him, but you absolutely have to respect him. So now it all comes down to one straightforward question. Did Kenyon Martin just reveal the reality behind LeBron's harshest critics? Because if the criticism is truly strong, it should survive when the facts are brought into the conversation. But if it crumbles the moment the resume, the championships, and the records show up, then what was it really? Was it honest analysis or simply noise directed at the biggest name in the room? If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with somebody who needs to hear it, and leave your opinion down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.